Hi there, my name's Greg Keithley, and I've been a graphic designer for over 10 years. I started out just like you, fresh out of design school and ready to start my career. But this proved tricky, and so that's why I put together this course. It's going to help you bridge the gap between design school and design career to kickstart your life and pursue your passion. But let me back up and tell you a little bit more about myself. I started my career freelancing and working at ad agencies. In those early days, I didn't make a lot of money, and that's okay, because I gained a lot of experience and insight. From there, I moved into in-house corporate roles. I worked my way up to senior designer, art director, and creative director, and I even founded my own branding agency. My work has been seen around the world, and I've had the opportunity to rebrand large corporations, launch startups, and win some design awards. Now, I say all this not to impress you, but rather to impress upon you my credentials for putting together this course. And my goal is to help share some of my insight and experience with you so that you can kickstart your career as a professional graphic designer. This course isn't really intended for people who know nothing about graphic design. There's plenty of courses out there that can teach you those basics and those fundamentals. But the purpose and the goal was to create a very specific, actionable course for people that are ready to start their career. That's not to say that there isn't value to be had for everybody, but I want to make very clear who the intended audience is for this course. We will cover things like how to market yourself and your work, job hunting and interviewing, how to land a job and keep it, the importance of passion projects, and other helpful topics. So with all of that in mind, let's look at some of the popular career paths in the industry and what you could anticipate experiencing from each one. As with all careers, there's tons of unique situations. We're not going to try to cover all of that, but there are three main career paths as a graphic designer. First, there's the freelance and entrepreneur route. Second, there's the ad agency route. And third, there's the in-house corporate route. Over the course of my career, I've done it all. And I have tons of friends and colleagues that have also been in any of these different types of career paths. There's no right or wrong answer. It really just comes down to you, your life, and what you want. All right, so let's explore some of the differences in these career paths, and then I'll give you my 2 cents about what's worked for me. So the first route is going to be the freelance and entrepreneur route, because they're basically the same thing in this context. And the great thing about this is it's extremely accessible. Like, you could start doing it now as a student. In fact, I would recommend don't wait. Just start taking clients and gaining experience. A career as a freelance designer can be amazing. You get to be your own boss, make your own hours, work from wherever you want, you get to name your own price. And with today's technology, you can work from pretty much wherever you want. So being a design freelancer means being in business for yourself, which could be good or it could be bad, because now you're the front line of your business. And you have to do everything from invoicing to presentations to customer service issues, and most importantly, selling. Because if you can't sell, you won't have much of a career. So the second option is to get hired by a creative or an ad agency. And there's tons of them to choose from. Everything from the small boutique niche agencies to the huge international conglomerates. And the great thing about working in agencies is you get a lot of experience very fast. Everything there moves at a very fast pace. So you could get a lot of experience very quickly. And depending on the agency that you're at, you could get to work on some really big name brands. Think of like the Ford or the Samsungs or the Chick-fil-A's of the world. But the downside is it could be very brutal. You have to expect very long hours, stressful deadlines, and a certain amount of volatility, which means potentially, if one of these agencies loses one of their big accounts, then all the people that were working on that brand are now out of a job. It doesn't always happen, but I've seen it happen enough to know that it's a certain risk you need to be aware of. Also, depending on the agency, they might have you sign very constrictive non-compete agreements. So if you're wanting to freelance at the same time, this could prove a little bit tricky. But it's not all bad. Agency life can be a lot of fun. I mean, the late hours, the fellow creatives that are also hungry and eager, the after-work happy hours. I mean, there's a lot of great memories to be had. Option 3 is the in-house corporate roles. More and more companies of all sizes are bringing the creative and marketing work in-house and building out these robust internal teams. Corporate life can be great. They're usually slower paced, they come with nice benefits and perks, and they can typically be more stable than, say, an ad agency. But some of the potential drawbacks of working at an in-house corporate job, it could mean that there's less people in the department, which means it's harder for you to get promoted. And also, you're probably only going to be working on one brand at a time, which, could slow things down as far as your portfolio work is concerned. And it could mean that everybody else in the company might not really understand or get what you do. The creative and marketing people are an entirely different breed, and so sometimes the ways that they operate and the ways that they think can seem weird or outlandish to people outside your department. Lastly, the biggest potential drawback to the in-house corporate route is things can tend to move very, very slowly in corporate life and change directions a lot. This has been a constant frustration of mine over the course of my career. It's not necessarily a deal breaker, but it's just something that you should keep in the back of your head. So as you can see, there's a lot of variety in different options, and none of them are right or wrong. It really just comes down to you and what you want for your life. You have to sit down and be very honest about who you are as a person, and then go after it. Based on what's worked on my own life and other people I know, if I was fresh out of design school again, I would probably look to get hired at one of the larger ad agencies so I could level up my skills very quickly, work on big name accounts. But at the same time, I would also be freelancing and working on side projects. Always work on side projects, and we'll talk more about that later.